So this week, South Africans once again commemorated Youth Day, but present-day youth have different challenges to overcome. Rampant unemployment means that many of the country's youth will find themselves on social grants to survive. And even university graduates are finding it increasingly difficult to enter the job market. For more on this, we're joined by project lead at Youth Capital, Kristal Duncan-Williams. Kristal, thank you very much for availing yourself this afternoon. From the work that you do, what is it that the young people of today are telling you about some of the challenges that they are faced with?
I think why this documentary is so important is because it really drives home the point that young people are facing a multitude of systemic barriers, and it doesn't start when they finish studying something and start looking for a job, but it's really all the way through their journey. In education, young people struggle to get certified. They struggle to get the practical components of their vocational qualifications, and therefore to fully complete that qualification, even though those artisanal skills are needed in the market. When it comes to looking for work, young people face high costs of work seeking associated mostly because of data costs and high transport costs. And then young people get into work opportunities, and they're short-term opportunities that don't translate into long-term work and employment for young people. And young people aren't given the career guidance to know how to string their volunteer experience, their short-term public work opportunities, and their side hustle into some kind of path that creates a sustainable livelihood for them. You know, these are just some of the things that are touched on in the documentary.
The MEC for Sport, Arts and Culture was speaking to my colleague Dumaule Mohlaudi earlier today, and she said that the government is not there to give handouts but hand-ups, if you will. Now, from the work that you do, again, is it that young people are not taking the lead when it comes to their future, or is there a gap when it comes to that much needed assistance?
I think young people, schools are not equipping young people for the world of work, and young people often live in households where no one is employed. So now you expect a young person to show up for a job and just know, how to behave, how to communicate, these softer skills, things that aren't taught in the classroom per se. And I think this is where there's a breakdown. Employers don't understand young people, and young people aren't understanding what's needed in the world of work. And if we don't educate them on that, how can we expect them to, grab these opportunities, as you just quoted now? And even when they do grab these opportunities, most of the government public works opportunities are short-term opportunities, and obviously that's understandable because we can't create long-term opportunities for everyone indefinitely. But I think what we can do with these short-term opportunities better is to ensure that there's mentorship and some kind of training and reference letters given to young people so that they come out of that with more than they went in with. These experiences around how to, show up for work, computer skills, the softer skills that the world of work requires. I think these short-term programs can do a better job of equipping young people with those skills.
Is this something new, what you're saying, right? So I don't know about your generation, but I know a few people, myself included, from our generation, where it takes you so long to get to a point where you feel like, shoo, I can breathe, right? That's if you're lucky enough to even be in employment. But those soft skills that you speak of, you sort of learn on the job. You make the mistakes, and then you're like, oh, okay, cool, this is what you do and this is what you don't do. But the young people of today are very different, right? They're also this generation of the gadgets, of their human rights, of, they're so capacitated in knowing what it is that they do not want. So how do we breach the gap?
I think we often make the assumption that because, the millennials or Gen Z, they're on their phones all the time and therefore they have access to all this information. I think the majority of South African youth are comfortable on social media platforms, but when you go beyond that, I think young people don't have those skills. And so I think we need to, if I think about my own journey, why did I end up thriving? It's because I had really great mentorship and leadership. And I think, there's a call to employers to recognize the struggles that young people face, to recognize that just to show up for an interview, young people are having to choose to feed themselves, buy nappies for their baby, or to come to the interview, because that's the reality. And to just understand those complexities, I think we can try and understand each other a little better, and in the context of Youth Day, where we say we should be celebrating youth, and we're asking them to show up, how do the rest of us show up for young people? I think is a question we should be asking ourselves.
This is also a country and a continent that is very young. young, especially when we look at the youth population. But in particular, South Africa has some of the brightest young people that we know, whether it's something that you see on social media, no matter how difficult it is, we always find a moment to laugh, and it's these young people that are making us laugh as well. What is it that they're telling you about their hopes, about their dreams, about what actually is going right in their lives in this country?
So I think, we know that young people are not doing nothing. We say that young people are just stuck at home, but young people are trying their hardest. As you say, they're trying everything, whether it's, selling chips at the taxi rank or whatever it is. Young people are trying, whether it's from a small side hustle or, those extraordinary stories we do hear about young people doing extraordinary things. Young people are always trying, and I think we need to leverage that energy better. We need to support young people better, to fix the system around them, and to build relationship with young people. I think we undervalue what social capital can mean for young people. It's not just access to hearing about a job opportunity. It's help on creating a CV. It's help on starting your business. Giving a young person seed funding for their hustle is only one part of ensuring success for that young person. And I think young people are telling us that they really want to be able to follow their passions, and they don't want to just follow this very traditional go to university and these are your very traditional jobs that young people want to do. I think we can all acknowledge that the kinds of jobs that exist today are vast and varied and are changing all the time, and I think young people are keen to show up for that. We just need to give them the skills to be able to do that effectively.
Thank you very much for availing yourself this afternoon. Kristal Duncan-Williams is project lead at Youth Capital.